Today we're giving my four-wheel drive the makeover it deserves. Respraying bar work, buffing the entire car, the difference is incredible and it's something that anyone can do at home.
Alright, so the plan is to give the 80 series like a visual sort of front end overhaul upgrade. It's been neglected visually for a while now, but yeah, it's time to address it. So we're going to pull the bar off, but we're not replacing the wheel bar. I'm not putting anything new on. We're going to take it off and repaint it because I actually really like this bar. It's Australian made, I'm pretty sure it's a TGM bar. It's high mount winch compatible. It's pretty beefy. Yeah, it's definitely got some of this old 90s or early 2000s styling to it, but it doesn't really bother me. I think with a fresh coat of paint, some new lights in these infill spots, we can make it look really good. So we're going to pull it off and sort of do a little bit of restoration on it. You might see too, we're actually testing out the new King Chrome 18-volt power tools. These things are bloody wicked and it's making light work of the bolts so far. I don't think these have like probably ever been undone. No, they haven't. But yeah, no issues with this thing. That's enough.
So to pull the bar off, we're using the trusty block and tackle. As with the winch and everything that's on it, it's got a bit of weight to it.
Sits higher at the front now, look at it, bloody hell.
So with the bar off the 80, we could then get to work on pulling everything off it. So we're left with just a plain bar, ready for it to be prepped and cleaned up for painting. We're also going to be giving some much needed love to the high mount winch, cleaning it up and giving it a fresh coat of paint on the motor, along with restoring the rusty rollers which sit on the front of the bull bar. We cleaned up each roller using the lathe, then spray painted them silver, which will match the winch.
You don't trust me with this, do you?
No, I don't. Especially if it runs in it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Oh, I think I look awesome.
It will actually look good in a black bar once it's...
Yeah.
It'll look far better. Your King Spotlight's going to look a bit El Crapo, but...
It was then time for the fun job of grinding back the entire bull bar. Luckily, Liam was kind enough to give me a hand, and about an hour later, we had pretty much cleaned back the entire bar.
Alright, so the bar is all grinded back. It took us a little bit, probably about an hour on it. Most people would probably go and get sandblasted. It'd be a lot easier if you want to have like a complete perfect job.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we did pretty well with two grinders, really. Liam's got some paint, just leftover stuff that we used on...
Same stuff I used on my chassis.
Yeah.
It's a satin black, so not too glossy, not too flat, right in the middle. Dries on hard. It really needs a couple of days to dry, but it's pretty sturdy when it's on there. So, yeah, we'll put probably a couple of coats, and yeah, it should come up a treat, hopefully.
Bro, it's gonna be crazy having a black bull bar again.
It always amazes me just what a fresh coat of paint can do to something, and it wasn't long until we had it all painted and hanging up by the fire for it to dry. The next day, while the bar was still drying, we tackled some other jobs, such as a fresh battery for the 80 series, and I wired together all the connections for the new parkers and indicator lights that'll be on the new restored bull bar.
Alright, so all the wiring is done for the indicators and the parkers for the bull bar, so I'm excited to fit these on. We're letting it dry, we're giving it the whole day just because we are going away this weekend, so I want it to give it the best chance that none of the paint's going to fall off. But in the meantime, we've got some new mirrors to put on. So OCAM actually sent these out to me, they wanted me to try them out. So these are their shorter style towing mirrors for an 80 series. So I've always sort of thought towing mirrors a bit, I don't know how I feel about them, but these are a shorter length, so they should look all right on the car, and I think they're actually going to really help with the vision because you guys know I've got that draw system behind me, so it's like a false wall behind my head, so I'm relying completely on my mirrors to see when I'm backing up or doing anything, so I'm excited to see what difference these make. Alright, so since I'm doing a bit of an 80 series, makeover, trying to make it look a bit nicer, I figured why don't I try and actually fix some of the paint on here because you guys all probably know it's scratched really bad. It looks pretty rough in a lot of places, and conveniently, we've actually received some new King Chrome power tools, which include a buffer. So we've got a battery 18-volt one, and we've got a corded 240 one. All the pads and everything, but I have no idea how to use any of this gear. So I've called up the man who might know a thing or two about it, Dan. You might have seen he buffed his GQ before the Melbourne show last year, and it turned up immaculate. So like, fingers crossed, I'm hoping he can do the same magic of mine, but mine might be too far.
I'm not making any promises, all right? I got roped into this to I've just come over to give Paddy a few pointers on this.
Yeah.
The car's a bit sunburnt, so we'll do what we can. The panels that still have clear on them will look good.
That's it.
But look, it's just going to be a bit of a basic thing for if you're looking to do your four-wheel drive or your car at home. I'm no detailer, but I mean, I think the work speaks for itself that,
Yeah,
if you have some basic tools, you can get into your car and you can make paint that might look a bit average, a bit better.
All right, so we're gonna get started on the tailgate as the first bit, just a bit of a tester, and because it is possible to do damage with this stuff if you don't know how to do it correctly. Yeah. So that's why Dan's here to teach me how to do it right. So I guess we got some,
Yeah, we've got, Paddy grabbed some cut and polish the other day from Super Cheap. It's nothing crazy.
Nah, it's just
fancy.
budget stuff.
So we'll have a crack with that. That failing, I brought along a tub of everything I've acquired over the last 5 years of wasting all my time polishing cars. So yeah, we'll have a crack at this first. We'll use one of the new pads.
Yep.
And I guess we'll just jump in and see how it comes up.
Sweet.
So we're going to jump into this tailgate first with this coloured pad. Now in this King Chrome kit, that is the harder of the polishing pads. Now it's important to remember, depending on if you buy different brand pads, they are not universal. So every company likes to come up with their own colours. There's a few of them that make sense. There's a few that are just, they're all over the place. So this has a handy little scale on the back to tell you what you're using. We could go a bit harsher and use either the wool pad or the microfiber that's in here, which is a bit harder. But being that we don't know how much clear's left on Patrick's car, and this is the problem I face with the Patrol, is you want to cut out every scratch you can, but being the age of the car, a lot of the clear's already taken off. They weren't that thick to start with, so we'll just go nice and light and get the car to a point that's good. It's still going to have a few of the deeper scratches, but it's better than rubbing through the clear. The nicest panel on Patrick's car is about to get nicer. We're going to start with this little water-stained mark here, which looks like it's from where his window runs down.
We have given this clean before we do it too. The rest of the car's dirty, but we've cleaned this panel in preparation.
It's worth mentioning that. So wash your car properly before you start doing this, and it's worthwhile clay barring it as well. Metal particles and everything sticks in your paint. Mostly metal particles from brake pads and that actually, apparently.
Okay.
So that sticks to the paint, and washing it takes the dirt off, but all that stuff that sort of is holding onto the paint will stay there. So what a clay bar does is you go over it basically the same as washing, and it picks all that up and it grabs all that. The issue is that if you don't, then this pad grabs it instead and it just swirls. Clean the car properly before you start and you won't have that problem.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll give you the magic sauce.
Oh, is that what it's called? Righto.
Is there any you just squirt it on? You don't?
A little bit.
Little bit.
Okay. So it's worth noting you don't want to run too much product.
Yeah, okay.
So only put a little bit on this.
Yep.
I carry a spray bottle all the time. I actually borrowed this off Liam. He uses it to do his hair. So we run a little spray bottle, which I'll show you why, and also keep a bucket of water nearby. So wash the pad every panel. If you're doing something big like the bonnet, you might have to wash it 2 or 3 times. Everything that builds up on here, it ends up just, you have too much product on there, and again, you're just rubbing dirt basically back over the paint. So I'm going to start off on the lowest speed, and we're going to just barely rotate that basically. So like that. And more than anything, that's to put product on the surface.
Oh yeah, distributing it.
Now that's almost immediately dry, so that's what the spray bottle's for.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Now how much force are you giving it?
Barely any force, very little pressure. You don't want to hit any plastic edges like that tail light. If you hit it, you'll end up leaving scuff marks on it.
Yeah, okay.
So,
ideally, you'd probably mask up.
Yeah, so I masked all my flares and everything when I did mine, but that's because they're plastic. Yours are painted, so it's a bit more forgiving. Run it nice and slow to start with, and we'll pick up the pace a touch. Again, very little pressure. Try not to hit that plastic. Now you can start off moving however you like, but in your finishing cuts, you always want to move. You basically see the lines that the buff leaves behind? You want to get them as close together as you can. So move slow.
Right.
With the buff running at a bit higher pace.
Yep.
And that means, because otherwise, again, you can see the swirls.
Yeah, okay, yep.
So the swirls are always there, essentially. You're just trying to get them to a point where you can't visually see them. Try and run the pad as flat as you can. You don't want to go like digging it in on a corner, which is, it's tempting to do, because like a sander, it cuts quicker when you're like, but you'll end up, you end up rubbing through one hole. Or...
Right, okay, yeah.
So what you see is that as that polish dries out, that's when it starts to buff back off the surface. Now being that this paint's a bit older again and we don't want to go too hard on it, you don't want to run the cutters real dry. So see, that's coming up pretty good already. But if you want to keep going, literally just mist a tiny bit of water on it. And you can keep cutting. You're essentially just reusing the cutters that's already on the pad.
Right, yep. Damn, it's already looking more shiny.
Yeah.
That stain's gone. The stain's gone.
So you picked a good day to do it as far as using water and everything. That's the other thing. If you're in full sun, don't even bother. Like if it's 20 degrees or above and you're in the sun, that stuff that's sitting there would already be dry. Like I said, if you say you want to get out a little scratch or whatever, you can sort of work that spot a little bit more. but then when you're done, take a sort of final pass over the whole panel.
Yeah,
So
I guess
that-
you got to remember that, like, in a day, a scratch is just a divot in the paint.
Yes, yep.
And if you keep going...
Yeah, you're going to go down
Yeah.
as deep as a scratch.
Yeah,
So you can't add paint, you're
Yeah.
only removing it.
Yeah.
It helps to take a final sort of pass over the whole lot once
Yep,
you're
just to
done.
even it out.
Which evens it out,
Yep.
yeah.
So Dan gave me a bit of a masterclass and walkthrough on how to do it myself, so I'll be ready to tackle the entire car.
So Patrick,
So-
you got a whole car to do now.
Yeah.
Just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, just hit the rest of it. Mine only took me 36 hours, so you should have this done like end of the day.
Yeah.
Basically, the only way to learn how to do this is to just do it. And yeah, it might not come
It's the
out
best car
a
to
million
practice
bucks.
on because
Yeah.
you can't make it any worse.
It's going to look better either way.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Don't practice on your brand new Porsche. Or
No,
Mercedes.
exactly, yeah.
Practice on a 80
Yep.
series
Yep.
or a GQ.
Yeah. The only way you're going to get good at doing this is by just doing it. You've just got to practice and go, oh, well, that didn't work, or that did work, or half the stuff I probably just said, detailers are going to go, where the hell, who told him that? It's just what works.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now, Paddy, all you got to do is the rest of
Yeah.
the car. So
Easy.
I'll leave you with
That's
that. I'll take my leave. My job's done.
And when the next cloudy day came around, we were ready to buff the 80 series. Now, if you've seen this car in person or on the videos, you would know how badly pinstriped it is.
Dude, that's taken a fair bit of the scratches out.
Yeah, it actually has. You can already see that one patch, how reflective it is compared to like
Oh,
the
yeah,
madness
yeah,
of-
exactly right.
Like if the whole car looked like that.
It might be hard to see on the video, but this simple buffing was bringing the paint back to life.
Oh, yeah, mate, I can see my reflection. Like crystal clear, I can see my reflection.
And if you remembered what the paint looked like before, yeah, it's a massive difference.
It's still pinstripes, but
It's a lot better.
it's definitely showing now.
But there's plenty of buffing left to do, so let's go back to the bull bar.
All right, so the bull bar's now dry and it's ready to go on the 80 series. So we've got a few things to put on it, the winch, everything's been painted, so it's all looking like super nice. So yeah, that. I've also got the new infill lights to put in. So yeah, let's just put it all back together and get on the car.
Seeing the bull bar being put together, it literally felt brand new, so it really goes to show just what a little bit of paint can do.
All right, so I've been buffing Paddy's car for a few hours now. And I think it's at the point where I'm happy to sort of clean it off and see what the result is. Like obviously, you would have seen when Dan did this, he spent like 30 hours on his car or something, but this car is missing clear coat on half of it. So we're just trying to take the edge off, give it a bit of sheen. So I think I'm sort of happy with where it is. We'll go get the gurney, blow all the polish that's still sitting on there off, and give it a quick wipe over. And hopefully, once it dries, it's still shiny. So let's go do that and we'll soon find out. See how the water beads off?
Yeah.
See that? It didn't used to do that. See how it like beads off instantly? That's because it's so smooth now. Water don't even stick to it. No, it looks pretty good, I reckon. For a quick job, you can see what it looks like once it's dried.
All right, so I can't get over how well this has turned out, from the bull bar, the new mirrors, and of course, buffing the car. Like, we didn't really spend that much time doing it, but the outcome has just been incredible. Like, I'm really impressed that paint this old can show it to be that good. And yeah, obviously there's still bits and bobs here and there, but for like, just a quick job, honestly, we're so happy with it. And the car is looking bloody awesome. Like, I'm genuinely, like, the reflection, I can see myself, it's mirrored off it. Yeah, absolutely stoked. So, there you go, 80. You got a bit of a birthday. I think it deserved it after all it's been through. Bit of a clean up. There's still more to do, but yeah, it's definitely looking a whole lot better. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a like, get subscribed, and we'll catch you in the next one.